Beginner's Guide to Solar Energy, the untold story of solar power. Imagine this. A fiery ball of gas, 93 million miles away, has been throwing energy at Earth for over 4.6 billion years. No invoice, no subscription, just pure cosmic generosity. But here's the twist. For most of human history, we had no idea how to use it. So how did a teenage French scientist in 1839 accidentally discover the secret to turning sunlight into electricity? Why did NASA strap solar panels to satellites before we even had color TVs? What makes your toaster, your phone, and your electric car all secretly obsessed with a little device called an inverter? And most importantly, how does solar power actually work? Is it science, sorcery, or just really clever electrons doing the cha-cha? In this episode of Beginner Guides, How Does Solar Power Really Work? We'll unravel the electrifying tale of the sun, the original influencer, and the eccentric humans who dared to harness its glow. From teenage breakthroughs to space-age tech, from ancient admiration to modern obsession, this is the story of how sunlight became the most powerful celebrity in energy history. We'll meet the wizards of the watt, decode the drama behind the panels, and introduce you to the Solar Squad. A cast of characters that includes hoarders, translators, and cosmic RSVP senders. So grab your shades, charge your curiosity, and stick around till the end, because the future isn't just bright. It's eccentric, electric, and absolutely solar-powered. Long before TikTok stars and Instagram models, the sun was out here doing the most, lighting up the planet, growing crops, warming our bones, and inspiring ancient civilizations to build pyramids, temples, and calendars just to keep up with its schedule. The sun was basically the Beyoncé of the sky. Everyone worshipped it, but no one knew how to monetize it. That is, until a curious French teenager named Alexandre Edmond Becquerel came along in 1839. Picture this. Edmond, 19 years old, hanging out in his dad's lab, because that's what cool kids did in the 1800s, fiddling with silver chloride and electrodes in sunlight. Suddenly, zap, he notices that light can generate an electric current. Voila, the photovoltaic effect is born. Did he get a Nobel Prize? No. Did he get a parade? Also no. But did he lay the foundation for solar panels and a multi-billion-dollar industry? Absolutely. Fast forward to 1876, when William Grills Adams and his student Richard Day discovered that selenium could produce electricity when exposed to light. It wasn't powerful enough to boil a cup of tea, but it was proof that sunlight could be turned into juice, electrical juice. Then came the real MVPs. Bell Labs in 1954, with a trio of brainiacs, Gerald Pearson, Calvin Fuller, and Darrell Chapin, who created the first practical silicon solar cell. It was 6% efficient, cost a fortune, and looked like something out of a sci-fi comic. But it worked, and suddenly solar power wasn't just a science fair project, it was a contender. In 1958, the Vanguard I satellite was launched with solar panels strapped to its sides like futuristic armor. NASA was like, we need power in space, and batteries are heavy. Let's use the sun. It's already up there. Solar panels became the go-to power source for satellites, space stations, and alien conspiracy theories. If you've ever used GPS or watched satellite TV, you've benefited from solar energy in orbit. Back on Earth, solar was still the nerdy kid in the corner, smart, but not popular. Then came the 1970s oil crisis, and suddenly everyone was like, wait, what if we didn't rely on fossil fuels that are expensive, polluting, and controlled by geopolitics? Governments started funding solar research. Hippies installed panels on their communes. Engineers got to work, and slowly, solar began its glow-up. By the 2000s, solar panels were slimmer, cheaper, and more efficient. Countries like Germany went all in, launching the Energiewende, energy transition, and blanketing rooftops with panels like solar confetti. China became the world's largest manufacturer of solar panels, driving down costs. The US, India, and Australia followed suit. Suddenly, solar wasn't just for space nerds and eco-warriors, it was for everyone. How solar power actually works. Welcome to the backstage of the sun's greatest performance, where photons party, electrons dance, and your toaster gets the electricity it craves. No magic, just science. But trust me, it's still pretty magical. Every morning, the sun shows up uninvited, blazing across the sky like a cosmic diva. It hurls photons, tiny packets of light energy toward Earth at the speed of light. These photons are like energetic toddlers, bouncing, buzzing, and ready to cause chaos. Enter the solar panel, made of silicon cells, which are basically the VIP lounges for photons. Silicon is a semiconductor, meaning it's picky about who it lets in, but when photons arrive, it rolls out the red carpet. The moment sunlight hits the panel, photons start knocking on the silicon's door. And when they knock hard enough, they kick electrons loose from their atomic homes. These electrons don't just wander, they flow. And that flow, that's electricity. Specifically, it's direct current, DC, the kind of electricity that flows in one direction, like a very determined marathon runner. But your home doesn't speak DC. It speaks alternating current, AC, the kind that flips direction 60 times a second, like a caffeinated squirrel. So the inverter steps in. It's the multilingual genius of the system, converting DC into AC so your fridge, lights, and electric toothbrush can party like it's 2099. Now, let's say you're generating more electricity than you need. What happens? Enter the battery, the system's hoarder. It stores excess energy like your grandma stores Tupperware lids, just in case. Later, when the sun goes down and your Netflix binge begins, the battery releases that stored energy like a hero in the third act of a movie. If you don't have a battery, no worries. Your extra energy goes back to the grid, and you earn credits like solar karma. It's called net metering, and it's basically the universe saying, thanks for sharing. In a world powered by sunlight and driven by electrons, a team of unlikely heroes rises to keep the energy flowing and the lights on. They don't wear capes, but they do wear circuits. This is the story of the Solar Squad. Every great story needs a lead, and in this one, it's the solar panels. They're the dazzling performers who step into the spotlight every morning, arms wide open, ready to catch the sun's golden rays. With their sleek, glassy suits and silicon hearts, they turn sunlight into raw power. Without them, there's no show, just darkness and disappointment. Enter the inverter, the brainy linguist of the squad. Fluent in both DC and AC, this character takes the raw, unrefined energy from the panels and translates it into a language your home understands. Think of them as the UN interpreter at an energy summit. Calm, precise, and absolutely essential. Without the inverter, your toaster would be confused, your fridge would sulk, and your lights would flicker like a bad horror movie. Then there's the battery, the quiet collector with a vault full of secrets. While others shine in the daylight, the battery works in the shadows, storing energy for when the sun clocks out. It's the prepper of the group, always ready for a blackout, a storm, or a Netflix binge at midnight. Some call it stingy, we call it strategic. Standing guard at the entrance to the battery vault is the charge controller. This tough-as-nails bouncer doesn't let just any voltage stroll in. Too high? You're out. Too low? Try again. It keeps the battery safe from overcharging and undercharging, like a nightclub security guard who's also an electrical engineer. Every star needs a stage, and that's where the mounting system comes in. Whether it's bolted to a rooftop or anchored in a field, this unsung hero holds the entire performance together. Rain, wind, snow, it doesn't flinch. It's the scaffolding of the solar revolution, the backbone of the brilliance. And finally, the monitoring system, Squad's resident gossip. Always watching, always reporting. It knows who's pulling their weight, who's slacking off, and when something's about to go wrong. It sends alerts, graphs, and smug little notifications to your phone like, hey, your panels just crushed it today. It's nosy, but it's helpful. Together they form the Solar Squad, a team of components that turn sunlight into power, chaos into order, and homes into havens of clean energy. They may not get movie deals or action figures yet, but they're the real heroes of the energy age. Solar energy isn't just a trend, it's a revolution. And it's doing it with style. Cheaper than coal in many places. That's right, sunshine is beating fossil fuels at their own game, powering homes, cities, and even entire countries. From Lagos to Los Angeles, solar is lighting up lives, integrated into windows, fabrics, and roads. Imagine charging your phone with your jacket or driving on a solar-powered highway. Innovations like perovskite-cell solar paint and floating solar farms are turning science fiction into science fact. And the best part, the sun isn't sending invoices. It's just up there, shining like a benevolent cosmic influencer, waiting for us to keep tapping like with our solar panels. Don't miss what's next. If you've made it this far, you're officially part of the eccentric solar family. And trust me, the next episode will be even juicier. So subscribe, like, and turn on notifications, because the sun waits for no one, and neither do we. Let's keep chasing the light together. Coming up next on Eccentric Solar, top 10 things you didn't know about solar panels. From panels that work in moonlight, yes, really, to solar cells that can be printed like newspaper, this episode will blow your mind and maybe your fuse box. So hit that subscribe button, because missing it would be like forgetting sunscreen in the Sahara. Your future self will thank you.